Hello, and welcome to ONCA 101, Record Keeping for Ontario Nonprofits. My name is Benjamin Miller, and I am a lawyer who serves nonprofits and charities. I'm of counsel with B.I.G Charity Law Group. In this video, I'll review some of the rules under Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act dealing with the records you need to keep at your Ontario nonprofit. In particular, I'll go over what the records are, where you should be keeping these records, and who is generally speaking entitled to see the various records. Now, two quick disclaimers. The first one is the following presentation is just general legal information, not legal advice tailored to your situation. If you are looking for advice, then we suggest you reach out to a competent legal advisor. The second disclaimer is that in this video we're only going to be talking about Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act. And there are lots of other laws. There's tax law, there's privacy law. There are lots of other laws that might require you to keep records and might dictate how you keep those records. We're not going to be talking about any of those other laws. So this video is by no means complete. It's only dealing with a relatively small part of Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act. Okay, so what records do you need to keep according to Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act? Well, you need to keep your governing documents like your articles and your bylaws. You should keep minutes of members and board meetings. And here's the thing a lot of people don't realize. You also need to keep minutes from the committee meetings. So member committee meetings and director committee meetings. So if your members are getting together, let's say they're an advisory group, you should make sure that they're keeping minutes, as well as any resolutions coming from either the committees or the board or the members' meetings or the committee meetings of members. You should keep a list of directors, officers, members, as well as their contact info. And actually, Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act specifies what information you should be keeping in these lists. And it can be cumbersome, but can also be very useful to keep these lists effectively. And you can use a CRM, a client relations management or customer relations management software to help you keep track of all this information. You need to keep adequate financial records, and the meaning of adequate is determined by what is the standards of accounting to determine what your financial position is as an organization. You have to, if you own any land in Ontario, then you need to keep a register of that land, so some basic information about the land specified in the Act. You need to keep a record of the consents that you got from the directors, so when they wrote down in writing that they agreed to serve as directors. And finally, you need to keep your financial statements. These are the main things specified in Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act that basically every nonprofit is going to need to keep, but the regulations list a number of other things that might apply to you where you need to keep it in writing. So where should you be keeping your records? The answer is for a lot of the records, you can keep them either at your headquarters, which are specified in your articles, or at another place in Ontario. They have to be kept within Ontario that your directors specify. Some things have to be kept at your headquarters. So again, we can't get into the details here, but in general, it's good practice to keep things available at your headquarters. So here's the big question. I get this fairly often. Can you keep your records electronically? Yes, absolutely. ONCA is a modern statute, and one of the big updates is that it explicitly allows you to keep your records electronically. So even if they're in the cloud, which means the server might be somewhere in America or somewhere else in the world, nevertheless, as long as they're accessible from your headquarters, so you can log in or whatever from your headquarters, and crucially, they're in a format that the people who have a right to read them can read them. And if they don't have the software they need, if they have a right to access the documents, your nonprofit has the obligation to provide technical assistance. So, who has access to your records? Well, directors and officers, they have access to everything. I sometimes am faced with the unfortunate situation where one director is being denied access to crucial documents. That should basically never happen. They need access to everything to do their job unless there's a complaint being made against them or something like that. Auditors, they're entitled to see any document that they feel is necessary for them to do their jobs. Members and creditors are basically entitled to see everything except for the minutes and resolutions of director meetings or director committee meetings. And members additionally have a right to a free copy of the articles and bylaws. The members, while they do have access to a list of members, they have to sign something that basically says they'll only use this information for appropriate purposes, like contacting other members about business related to the nonprofits, and they won't use it for inappropriate purposes like promoting their business or something like that. So that's a general overview of the record-keeping requirements under Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at benjamin.miller@charitylawgroup.ca or just visit charitylawgroup.ca, and I'm sure someone would be happy to address your question. Thanks so much for listening.